Hey guys, Crispin Powley guest hosting for Barry today. We're on Dale Hollow Lake. This lake is home of the world record smallmouth bass, but it's not just smallmouth. This lake's full of giant largemouth, big spotted bass. We're gonna go out early fall and see what we can get done. Stay tuned because Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
There you go. Pulling hard. Come here. Come here. Come here. What a way to open a show. I wish they were all this easy. Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Fox Sports Outdoors. I'm coming to you live. I'm Crispin Powley. I'm guest hosting for Barry. I'm on Dale Hollow Lake. It is early fall. It's one of my favorite places to fish. I haven't been here in a long time, but it is absolutely gorgeous here. Very serene, very peaceful. The backdrop here is about as pretty as anywhere you'll ever fish, and it's full of these big jokers right here, these big old brown fish. It's what the lake's known for. It's home to the world record smallmouth bass of 11 pounds, 15 ounces. Think about that. It's a 12-pound smallie. Let that sink in for a second. But here's the thing. We're gonna run around here today. I'm gonna try to figure out how to catch these big smallmouth. There's big largemouth here too. The lake's full of grass and rocks, and it's a really cool place, very diverse. And while I'm out here catching these bass, we're gonna send you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from your local rivers, lakes, and bays, both fresh and saltwater, from the rest of our team of insider reporters. So guys, I've never opened a show like this. I'm jacked about it. Stay tuned. I'm going to send you to the FSN studios. I can't even talk. I'm so excited for your weekend planner.
Hello everyone. The Salooner tables are listing the conditions for both days this weekend as fair. Peak morning activity should begin a little after sunrise, and the best evening times are forecast to take place at 8:23 on Saturday and 9:10 on Sunday. The sun will rise at 7:42 and set at 6:40. And nights will feature a moon that is 58% visible. We're coming right back with fishing reports from around the area. Plus, I'll return with 2014 Bassmaster Classic champion Randy Howell on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Motor Guide, because accuracy matters. Lowrance Electronics, celebrating 60 years of fish finding excellence. Find, navigate, dominate. And Excite Technologies, powering the world forward.
Oh, Finesse jig. He has ingested some crawfish. You know, Dale Hollow is a pretty interesting lake. It's very diverse. By and large, it's a big lake and it's a deep lake and it's a clear lake. But within that, there's a lot of different opportunities to fish a bunch of different ways, and it's very driven by the variables, by the weather, by the conditions. Right now, you know, it's a weird time of year. They're between summer and fall. They're not committed to the fall. There's some out chasing the bait pods around on the main lake and in the creeks. But they're really just scattered. It's a bite here and a bite there. So the cool thing is it's kind of a new adventure every day right now until you get your deal dialed in. There's one. Pitched that drop shot in there on the end of that tree. Hooked him right between the eyeballs. You know, that is that ain't what I'd call a big one, but that is a first one, and therefore he's a good one. You know, these banks on this lake are real steep and the water's falling down. So that makes those treetops that lean from the bank out over that deep water just premium real estate. And I was going down this bank throwing a topwater bait, and I came to this treetop that just looked perfect. So I pitched that drop shot in there, and first pitch in there, one eats it. I'm gonna put this guy back. I'm gonna I got a hunch now that I may kind of change the way I was gonna do things and may spend a little bit more time on that drop shot. I'm gonna send you for your local fishing report.
The lake levels, the water temperatures, and the bite are bouncing all over the place in Oklahoma at this time, but we're so close to getting into that true fall fishing pattern, which gets really good at a lot of places across the state, and that will last for weeks to come. Two good recent crappie outing reports for you. One from Lake Wister. Wister has become the favorite fishing lake for Kevin and Patty DeLong for big slabs. Now, a recent outing there, they caught a 1.9 4-pounder as their biggest, but several other quality fish as well. They had the best success vertical jigging in 10 to 13 foot of water around those stumps and other structure. And then at Fort Gibson Lake, Gary Rowe is catching them right now, fishing laydowns in 6 to 8 foot of water, but he's using a casting and reeling technique to catch those slabs there. He's triggering a reaction bite. The good news from Fort Gibson is that those better fish are starting to move in now. Gary said that a couple weeks ago, a lot of fish, but they were small, but now some quality fish showing up, even some 2-pounders at Fort Gibson Lake. Now, best color for the DeLongs at Wister was this Keystone Candy. It's kind of a black grape color with a chartreuse tail and small red flake in both colors on that. And then at Fort Gibson Lake, Gary is casting and retrieving this pile diver, which is a creature type swim bait. It's got the trailing swim tail behind, the little vibrating arms on the side, and again, a casting and retrieve technique. Keep going, check out those places and others like them using these techniques. You can catch crappie in Oklahoma right now, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
There's one right there. There he is. Come here. Oh, Finesse jig. He has ingested some crawfish. Here's the thing. When you're on a lake like this and the water's being drawn down, that cover is such a premium. And when you've got a day like this where there's not a lot of wind, they don't just typically get on the rock banks. So what I've done is kind of keyed in on just the treetops, and it's certain kind of banks. This is a bluffy type bank with some shale rock and some chunkier stuff. I haven't caught anything today on just gravel banks. And what I've done is I'm running from creek to creek to creek, and I'm just looking for a certain type of rock with trees on it. And I picked this Finesse jig up and fished it way out here. I'm sitting in 26 feet of water, and that fish bit in probably 20 to 25 feet. And all I'm doing is crawling that jig around, or I'm throwing a drop shot in those treetops. Got a little cloud cover. When the clouds pop out and the wind blows a little bit, go over those same treetops with a topwater bait or a spinner bait. I'm gonna put this guy back. I'm gonna move on down to the next tree, get set up again. Oh, big smallmouth, big long smallmouth. Ate that sexy dog walking it over there. I'm sitting in 103 feet of water. You know, one of the things about Dale Hollow that you just can't, I don't think you can explain in words, and I honestly believe we'll have a hard time showing you this on film. There's one. Is not only is the fishing great, but this lake is just beautiful. I mean, it's just beautiful. Oh, big smallmouth, big long smallmouth. Ate that sexy dog walking it over there. I'm sitting in 103 feet of water, and I am throwing a topwater bait over some really shallow rocks up here. They're so shallow I can see the top of them. And there's not a lot of places on earth where I throw a topwater bait in 100 feet of water. And you know, one of the things, what I was going to say before I was so rudely interrupted by this smallmouth, is that the sheer beauty of this place is worth the trip alone. These are just a huge bonus. I've been blessed to fish all over the country, and there's not many places where the fishing's this good, this consistent, and it's coupled with a place that is so peaceful and so beautiful like Del Hollow. You just don't see, right now, I've seen one other boat on the lake today, and the backdrop, the scenery, the leaves are starting to change colors. I'm about 2 weeks early from this place being the most beautiful place you've ever seen. I'm gonna put this dude back. I'm gonna send you for your local fishing report.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is once again brought to you by Brecklin Ranch. Exotic hunting, whitetail hunting, bring the family. Kids 12 and under hunt free at the Brecklin Ranch. Check them out online, the Brecklin Ranch. Now this week we're going to talk about 2 lakes. We're going to start at Cooper Lake, just north of Sulphur Springs, where the hybrid fishing is fantastic right now. Find your main lake structure, your humps and your dams, and drop your slabs down on top of them. A few cranks of the reel handle, then mash the button, let it fall back down, crank it back up again. You'll get onto the hybrid. Now down at Falcon Lake, the lake has actually come up over 15 feet in the last couple of weeks. Fall is here, the water's risen, it's gone up into a lot of the different bushes and trees and grasses that were growing up. If the fish aren't there right now, they're gonna be there soon. Start your day with your topwaters and your spinner baits, and then work your way out a little bit deeper. But remember, stay in that shallow cover for your best chance at falcon bass. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by the good folks at Brecklin Ranch. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. You'll find him on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report, and our November issue is now on sale on newsstands with a great lineup of timely hunting features and columns. Plus our team of pros will also let you know about the fall fishing hotspots on area lakes and on the coast. Pick a copy of Texas Outdoors Journal on newsstands or subscribe at texasoutdoorsjournal.com or call 713-957-3997. Well, now that stronger and more consistent cool fronts are making their way through the Texas coast, changes are ramping up. The first is a drop in water temperatures that has fish on the move and aggressively feeding. Anglers need to factor into their plans wind strength and direction. On the upper Texas coast, water temperatures have dropped into the mid to lower 70s, with a few drops into the 60s when a front blows through. Strong winds are dropping tides and blowing water out of the back lake areas, where bait is also going into our main bays with the strong winds. When tides are high, the back lakes will be where the fish hold, and when the levels drop, set up around the mouths of drains. Bird activity is pointing the way to fish from Sabine southward to West Matagorda. Middle and lower coast anglers are seeing water temperatures drop, but not as rapidly. Wind is the variable most needed to adjust to. Redfish and trout are on the move along shorelines. Flounder are moving towards staging areas around passes and jetties. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, have a single tide schedule of 1 high and 1 low tide each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Marine, go boldly. And Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there.
That sucker just keeps coming out of the water. That right there is a toad on the old walking bait, the sexy dog. Oh God. That one smashed it. Looks like a big one too. Got one hook in him. Come here. Ah! That sucker just keeps coming out of the water. That right there is a toad on the old walking bait, the sexy dog. I'd made a long cast going down this bank. We got in here, like, the clouds are over the sun and it's clouded up, and we got a little bit of chop on the water, and it just looked like a perfect time to pick up a topwater bait. And this is what you come to Del Hollow for. This is a world famous smallmouth fishery probably no argument, this is the best smallmouth fishery in the South. And it's where the world record's from, and this is a big one. This one right here, I don't know, this sucker right here, he's well over 4. He's probably closer to 5. He's, I mean, thick and long. And I got on a windy bank like I was talking about earlier with that chunk rock and just walking that walking bait around, and he bit it, and oh, I'm gonna put this fella back. Let's go try to catch us another one. Man, they fight so hard.
Hey friends, let's talk about our saltwater fishing right here. About the only thing changed since last week was got a little windy, it got real chilly. You know what I mean? It got cool on that water, especially in the mornings. But you know what? If you get on the birds right now, you can throw plastics. We say throw a 1/4 ounce Rockport Rattler jig head and throw a fish bite plastic behind it. Any color doesn't seem to matter. If you got the birds working, you're gonna catch some good trout right now here on Calcasieu Lake. Our wade fishermen, they're doing good. Big trout, 29 3/4 caught yesterday. It was caught on the topwater bait. As far as the bass fishing goes, we got some good reports from the False River. Good fish being caught on crankbait. The Red River, up around Shreveport, they were catching good fish there. They were throwing a rattle trap and also the spinnerbait. And I tell you what, we want to mention that Lacassine Reserve Wildlife Refuge right here close to Lake Charles that we report on all the time. It's closed from October through March. So right now you can't go there, but whenever it reopens, we'll be bringing you the up-to-date reports for that. Just contact Occasion Phil, 337-540-5530. And I tell you what, we're going to tell you where it's happening and where it's not happening. Right now, it's fantastic here on Calcasieu Lake. I suggest come on down and get you some. Keep in mind, we are catching a few flounder right now, but that flounder bite's only 1 or 2 weeks away. 1 or 2 cold fronts, they're going to be on, man, I'm telling you. But anyway, fish is great. You want to catch a limit of redfish, you need to come on down.
There's one. Switch to that swim bait. Nice little smallmouth. You know what? I caught a big one down this bank earlier. Good night. You talking about having one hook? I caught a big one down this bank earlier on a topwater bait, and I went back down it a few more times, and with no luck. And I had a couple actually follow my topwater bait out and not eat it. So I switched to this rage swimmer on a belly blade, just kind of fishing around these treetops where the little rock transitions are. And that's a real key, is 2 places where different kinds of rock meet. You know, there's some big shale bluff rock, and then there's some little slides where there's some little smaller rock. And anytime you find 2 of those places, especially if there's a tree or a piece of wood there, it's money for stuff like this. And I'm just swimming that swim bait around. I'm gonna let this fish go, and I'm gonna tell you about, we're in the Salina area of Dale Hollow, and not only is the fishing incredible, but the accommodations are too. The people here are so friendly. I'm staying at Dale Hollow Marina, and I highly recommend that. They've got cabins, they've got houseboats, they've got a nice dock, everything you need. You don't ever have to leave here once you get here. But on your way in here, stop in and see my buddy Stephen Hedrick at Dale Hollow One Stop. He's got all your tackle, all your gas, ice, everything you need, and he's got some of the best barbecue you've ever eaten. So Salina, Tennessee, Dale Hollow Lake, Dale Hollow Marina, and Dale Hollow One Stop.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button. And see lots of our how-to and product videos by selecting the how-to button. Join our online fishing community. Just click the like button on our Facebook page for access to daily posts with lots of fishing news, videos, and frequent giveaways. And stay up to date with all the latest fishing information and photos by following our Twitter feed. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Luz, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Jean LaRue Bass Baits and Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leaders in soft plastic lures innovation. And Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's jump right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Jerry wants to know, is keeping quiet really important in bass fishing? For an answer, we checked with the 2014 Bassmaster Classic champion, Randy Howell.
This is a great question. Is keeping quiet really important in bass fishing? My dad always said it was, and I've learned now that my boys are 10 and 14. I've always said that to them too because I didn't want them to be loud because I was trying to concentrate myself. A lot of times the fish can't hear you, but your dad don't want to hear you if you're a kid in the boat sometimes. That's where that came from. But I think really being quiet in the boat as far as slamming compartment lids or dropping your pliers or stomping on a cooler lid down, those vibrations travel through the water like, sound, and they magnify. That's what fish hear. Your voice, they can't hear that at all, I don't think. So don't worry about talking loud. Just don't make any noise on the floor of that boat.
Thank you, Randy. If you want some help from one of the pros, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time for the Costa Catch of the Week, where someone wins a new pair of sunglasses.
Here's this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. Kate Laborde of Alexandria, Louisiana, with a 20 3/4-pound red snapper she caught in the Gulf of Mexico. It was Kate's first ever snapper. To enter the contest, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com. Click on the Costa Catch box on the right side of the homepage and follow the instructions to send in your big fish photo. You could win a new pair of Costa sunglasses. You can see all their Costa styles on their website by going back to our homepage and clicking on the Costa logo. All of their styles and frames are in one place. Let me tell you about the gear you need to do what you saw me do on Dale Hollow Lake. Number one is a Strike King Sexy Dog. It's a hard bait. It's a walking topwater bait. It is what I caught the most and my biggest fish on. Very easy to use and a tool you definitely need in your arsenal. Number two is the Tour Grade Belly Blade. It is what I would rig my soft plastic swim baits on. It's what I would fish behind that topwater bait. When I came to a treetop or a lay down on one of those rock banks, I would take this and throw that swim bait through there if one didn't eat my topwater bait. And number three, a Bass Mafia money bag. This is the coolest tackle storage option on the market. When I got ready to run up here, I hadn't been up here in 7 or 8 years. I threw all my stuff in these money bags. Has a Ziploc type seal and it has a zipper. Guaranteed to stay dry, tear proof, puncture resistant, Bass Mafia money bag. Hey guys, I want to take a minute and talk to you today about stuff that matters. We live in a time and in a place and in a society and in a world where every time you turn on the news, there's a shooting, there's a crime. It's perilous times. And what I want to encourage you to do is to spend some time sharing the things in life that bring you happiness and joy with others. Is it the outdoors? Is it the beauty of God's creation? Is it the serenity of a day on the lake? Is it your faith? I think we live in a time when it's up to us to help elevate, to help bring light, to help spread joy and hope. So in a day and a world such as this, share what gives you hope, share what gives you joy. That's the stuff that matters. Hey, thanks for joining me today as I got out and hunted down these early fall Dale Hollow smallmouth. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel like you could come here and kind of go to the type places I did and be successful. And this is a beautiful destination I highly encourage anybody to come to. If you love to fish for smallmouth bass, there's nowhere on earth like Dale Hollow. Barry will be back with you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. God bless.